Okay, I'm going to do a video for frugal living. So, wait, let me get this out of here. That's my spaghetti sauce that my friend Sandy gave me. But that was nice of her because I didn't have time this year to can tomatoes. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to... I got to take you over here. Let me move you over here. Over here is where I cooked my suet. Okay, so my suet I get, I think it's beef tallow, whatever, from the local restaurant called Rumors. Rumors is in Hudson on Main Street, and it's very good. It has options for me. It even has gluten-free bread most of the time. Every once in a blue moon, they don't have gluten-free bread. But for the most part, they have gluten-free bread most of the times. Okay, so now what I got here is I'm going to show you how I'm making my suet is what I'm doing. My suet cakes for the birds. Now what I have here, I have this pot. It's not very deep. Let me show you how, with my hand, show you how big it is. Trying to do this looking in the camera. Okay, so water in there. And then I got a colander. I got one of these just metal colander. I do not recommend these because I think they get clogged up too much and it won't drain well. It won't drain as well. So the big holes. Now what I did with my suet, I cut it up. Like they gave it to me in chunks. But I cut it up with, let me show you the scissors I used. These scissors are so neat. These they sold on QVC. They're called, I don't know if you'll be able to see the name here. I don't know if you can see that well enough. But these scissors, they're self-sharpening. You can hear them rubbing up against each other, the blades, that's how they self-sharpen. Let me see, it's KUHNRRIKON. The other print is too small. If you need like something designed. Okay, so anyways, these are really great. They work for anything from paper to this suet, and it was a lot easier to use this a lot of times than to cut with a knife. Now the other thing I use to cut suet, this bread knife makes it really easy to cut suet. Like the bigger pieces of suet like I get, I'm calling it suet. I don't think it's technically suet. But this makes it easier to cut even when it's frozen, especially when it's frozen. So a bread knife and these scissors here, because once they get a little bit smaller, you're probably going to find it easier to handle using these scissors than that wielding knife. So I cooked the suet. If you can see, it's pretty brown. It's a little, some of the pieces might be a little bit burnt, but you want to make sure you cook it all the way down so you get the most fat, liquid fat from it. Now I used to just use the meat chunks in there. Yeah, I forgot my spatula. Get this out. I would recommend if you have a big pan, make sure you have a handle on the other end. Let me see if you can see this handle here so you can hold it, because it's too big to hold and too heavy to work with one hand. So I used to put the meat chunks in there, the fat chunks. This year I decided, or this time that they gave me the suet, I decided I'll do half with, half without, and just half with because it's easier to do it that way. It's faster to not drain it, just dump it all in there with the liquid and the fat. And so if you look, let me see if I can get the camera here. If you look, you can see that liquid on the bottom. There's not much fat that comes from that. But then what I'm doing now, this time I got this Ninja. I'll tell you, the Ninja, let me see if I can get the light on here and give you a little bit more light. This Ninja is great. It's got, I highly recommend every home cook get a Ninja. It's got, what is it, like 2 or 3 lines of blade instead of just the blade being at the very bottom, and everybody thinks got to sink to the bottom and you got to constantly use a spatula and kind of like move it around so it'll get to the bottom. This has like 2 or 3 rows of blades up the spine, so it gets it all. You don't have to keep, you know, with the spatula, keep turning everything in there. So instead of pulling out the big food processor for most things, you can just use this Ninja. I got it at a garage sale for $25. I think there's a piece that's missing. I think there was like a smaller Ninja that went onto it originally if you bought it new. This is fine for me. I'm fine with that. But I'm going to do this. I'm going to see if the cats like this. They didn't like the meat as this. So I'm going to see if they like it like that. And if they don't like it, maybe the chickens will like it. My chickens have been very picky lately. They haven't, I gave them, I think, some soup. They didn't eat it. It had beans in it. They didn't eat it. Today I gave them something. I gave them something today. They didn't eat. I don't know. They seem to be too picky. I only got 7 chickens and they get a lot of extras. So anyways, this is the this is the way I drain the suet, and then what I do, I'll just take you all the way through it. I was just going to end it there, but I'll take you all the way through it since it seems to be going pretty quick. Okay, so I save the store-bought little plastic containers that the store-bought suet comes in, and oftentimes, I'm going to put this over here, oftentimes what I'll do is I'll put a tiny bit in there just to wet the bottom, even though it's a little bit wet already from the fat from the store-bought suet. I'm trying to hold this and do this at the same time. I don't have a fork here, so hopefully, changing hands here. It's a little more complicated. I didn't expect to get this far. Here we go. Because we're only 7 minutes in, 8 minutes in now. And then usually I do this with like a fork or a knife. You don't want to use a spoon because it doesn't work as well getting there. It's easier to do it this way. The spoon will take more time. You see I'm making sure the suet gets all the seeds, so the seeds will stick together, so you won't get like part of it not coming out, you know, not coming out in the chunk. Get that. And, you know, I'll put a little more seeds in there, whatever. This is just for demonstration. So anyways, just make sure everything's wet in here. And just for demonstration, I'm going to show you what I do after that. Usually I'll have a cookie sheet. I'll put it on a cookie sheet. Yeah, my cookie sheet's outside. So then I put wax down in my freezer first. So any suet that, usually it's on a cookie sheet though too, but I do put the wax down just so if any suet gets on there, you won't have to clean the shell from that suet and it won't drip underneath. And I just put it on there, like I said, it's usually on a cookie sheet, and I'll just leave it in there until it freezes. It doesn't really take that long to freeze in normal freezers, normal, you know, freezing temperature, because yeah, it maybe takes a couple hours. And then then I have another tub. Let me see, I'll show you. I left the tub outside because it's so cold out. It's February 24th, 2026. The temperature out is freezing, so I just left it out. Ah! It's out on the front porch. But anyways, I have a tub. I put it in the tub and then just leave it outside so it doesn't take up freezer space, because we don't have a deep freezer right now. Our freezer broke a few years ago. We were supposed to get a new house or move or something, and it just never happened. So anyway, so I just leave it out there because it's cold enough. And that's it. It's really simple. All you have to do is find some place that'll give you free suet. I would not recommend buying it. It's too expensive to make your own suet cakes, buying your own suet. Or tallow. Tallow. I think I'm using tallow.